Big LANs that host CSGO, the thing everyone talks about but you never seem to go to. Whether it be for nerves or one finally being open in your area, you have to make the decision. Should you go? The strong points. First, the social part of it. If you're like me, you never really felt in the mix in high school. You're not like a trenchcoat outcast, but your interests don't really blend in with most of the people at the school, and perhaps you prefer to just stay to yourself. If that's the case, a LAN might be awesome for you. Personally, most importantly, I got to see my friends that I've talked to for years finally in real life. It's great to have these people on Discord, don't get me wrong, but having the face-to-face connection really adds something to your experience. More generally, the LAN environment is a really cool place since you finally get to be around a ton of people like you. Seeing rows of people playing the exact same game you've played for so long is an incredible experience that I can't describe. It's once in a lifetime. Or maybe I'm just being really weird. But really, if you normally feel like no one likes the same things as you, and you see that one of these big LANs is near you, go! We want to be around people like us, and LAN is a perfect place for that. Second, seeing professionals play is an awesome thing about these big events. This applies more generally to CSGO esport events, but at least in my case, this also worked out for Dreamhack Austin. For someone who loves to watch the pros play, but doesn't really have the ability to travel to events, being able to see my favorite teams and others live, despite it being a pretty small event, was really awesome. It's probably just a personal thing, but there's something different about seeing them in person that again is really difficult to describe. The games themselves were mostly cool. Personally, there were a few boring games, but the exciting games well made up for it. Mostly whenever the crowd was electric.
Jump onto this bomb, the diffuser, but looks their way in time and finds that kill under it.
Or maybe not if you don't care for esports that much. Thirdly, the actual reason you're at the LAN. To play games. Now this could be positive and negative depending on how you are to change or try new things, but I thought for a 3-day period it was pretty cool. Now, I don't think I would like this more than a few days, because my private setup in my room is way better, with way more desk space, but being in a completely new environment while playing, again, at least for me, made everything feel new and refreshing. While the mics were bad in the Discord, there were 2 inches of mouse space, and the background sound was bonkers, I strangely felt more focused on the CSGO game than I did at home, and it was kind of more fun. Then again, I didn't win the one game while I was there, and as you can hear, I'm still sick from the event a week later. Fourthly, is that a word? The booths. There were a bunch of cool technologies I never got to see in person before, and I got to try things like VR for the first time. Lastly, fifthly, I think, you got to see other video game communities. My personal example was Rocket League, where a small but super exciting final involving G2 took place. Seeing the legendary Kronovi was pretty cool, but more importantly was seeing Rizzo, who actually played a few games on a Minecraft server called MC PvP so many years ago. So it was kind of cool to see him in real life and talk about it for a little bit, even if he doesn't know me. For me, there were really only 2 downsides, one of which I already mentioned as kind of a trade-off. No matter what though, they were vastly outweighed by the positivity of my experience. The one I already mentioned was the gaming environment. For me, I didn't really spend too much time at my computer while there, but for the people in the bring your own computer tournaments, this could be a pretty big issue. The other point was cost, probably the strongest point against going to a LAN. I'm a really frugal spender. I ate 3 times over 3 days, only bought an Ethernet cord and a phone charger since my phone broke, and parking. Despite this, I still paid over $100 without the ticket, which totals up to around $200 total, despite me buying almost nothing. I didn't do too much research on parking, and Austin is known for it to be pretty pricey, but it's still a reasonable thing to consider. Overall, would I recommend going to a big LAN event if you have the chance? Yes, especially if it's close to where you live. The biggest factor to consider in my mind for the average person is cost, but personally the positive factors outweigh it beyond a doubt, and this mouse pad can probably pay for it. But then again, it's going to the grave with me, so whatever.